Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at some photoelectric cells here. Now these are photo cells that are commonly used on street light fittings throughout Australia, okay, and probably even the whole world. Okay, well I do know these type are used worldwide. I don't know about this type, but so yeah, I'm going to show you all of these and we're going to take a look at the differences. Okay, now there is a difference between these photo cells and I'm going to show you. Well, these two here are the same thing, the difference is just the colour, okay. This one here is different, and I'll show you why that's different. Okay, the difference is what category is they're used on. Okay, so this one here is commonly found on category P street lights. These three here are commonly used on category V. Okay, there are some category P fittings that actually use these. Okay, well mostly all the new LED fittings. Okay, but the older ones, the old mercury vapors and fluorescents use this type. Alright, so this type here is known as the D2 type. Okay, now one thing to note about this photo cell is if you look at the bottom of it, it looks just like a fluorescent light starter. Okay, except it has this extra pin in the middle. It's also a little bit bigger than a fluorescent starter. Okay, if you look on here, it has this little notch here. That little notch rides a track in the receptacle. Okay, so you can only insert it one way. Alright, so the light comes in on this end. Okay, so the light comes in through here. Okay, so this photo cell, if you have a Sylvania B Quad 2, Sylvania B2223, B2224, Urban, Suburban, Pier Light Green Street, Aldridge Green Light, Streetworks, AJ Ferguson Zodiac, some of the old Pier Lights, maybe some old Watt Rays, you would have this particular photo cell on them. Okay, and some of the street LEDs, the MK1s, have this on it. Okay, so that's category P. Okay, now for bigger light fittings, like lights you'd find on major roads, you might find these type of photo cells on them. Okay, so this is what's known as NEMA type, as the NEMA type photo cell. Okay, now these are the electronic ones. They're a lot different to the analog ones, but they function the same way. The light shines in through this window. All right. On the bottom here you have 3 pins. Okay, one of them is a bit bigger. Okay, so you can only insert it one way into the receptacle. Okay, so this. Now this one here I have 2 colours. I've got this dark red one, I've got this blue one. A bit hard to tell with the yellow light, but it is actually red and blue. Okay, the blue one's a bit smaller. Okay. So if you have a Sylvania Roadstar, an OptiSpan made by GSC, Road LED, Street LED, Road LED MIDI, Aldridge P LED, Aldridge V LED, and anything along those lines, you'll find the NEMA type photo cell on them. Okay, this type here is I find a lot commonly used on the Aldridge fittings and some Roadstars and the OptiSpans and all that. Okay, it is used on the Road LEDs, Street LEDs, and Road LED MIDIs, but not as much as this one is. Okay, this blue one you'll find commonly on the new Sylvanias, such as the Road LEDs, Street LEDs, and the Road LED MIDI. You'll find this photo cell on it. Okay, you'll probably find on Roadstars too, very rarely. Okay, but it is used on it. This is made by Tyco Electronics. They also make traffic light units. This one here is made by Area Lighting Research. Okay, now this other one I have here is made by Area Lighting Research also. Except this one here is what I call a dummy cell. Okay. Looks like the pins again. I got a bit scratched because I have used this quite a bit. So this is a dummy cell. So what this does is it allows you to run the fitting if you want to be running the fitting, operate the fitting by hand. You don't want to have it automatically turning off and on. You would put this on here. Okay. Now, unlike this fittings with this, you can actually just take this out and it will run without it. With the fittings that take these, you can't just take it out because the circuit's incomplete. The fitting won't work unless there is something on that receptacle. So what you do is you put this dummy cell on the receptacle and it will allow the fitting to run. Okay, if you can see inside, you can see that these 2 pins are connected. Okay, these are your 2 live pins. Okay, this one here is not connected, so this is a dummy pin and these 2 connect. Okay, it's also referred to as a shorting cap. Okay, but it's made by Area Lighting Research, the same company that made that. Okay, it's also got a little N there. Okay, so that I think that means the north side. Okay. So if you want to manually operate your fitting, you'd put a dummy cell on it. Okay, so this is commonly used on areas where we have a lot of fittings and we want them to be if we operate them on just one photo cell. Okay, we use the dummy cell. Okay, so that is 4 different types of photo cells, or well, 2 different types, because these 3 are the same. This one here is different, that we use in Australia. Okay, they're just different ones that you find on street light fittings. Okay, and some LED floodlights use them as well. Some of the new Sylvania floodlights use them. I think some of the old sodium ones use them. The old Fawn, some of the old Fawn battens, if I had one of these on it, they had a photo cell. But generally the category P was this, and category V was this. Okay, so that's the photo cells. So I hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.